Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening. Welcome.
evening. Thank you. Thank you so much, Charles, for that profile and introduction. And I want to say a big thank you to all the parents who are here on the call early. Thanks for joining. So my name is Omotayo Akinyede. I'm going to take us through today's presentation on parenting with a purpose. And just a short story. When Sebastian called me to say I was taking this call, my first reaction was actually to say, Sebastian, no, don't go there. I'm not doing this. But then on second thoughts, I realized that this is an opportunity for me to do a research on our behalf, right? Understanding the fact that I'm also nurturing children, and this is the beginning of the year. I want to be sure that I'm also doing a good job in parenting, better than what I've done before. I'm setting the right tone for 2025. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll go and do the research on our behalf because we are all learning. And whatever I bring to this table is an opportunity for me to learn, to also share what I've learned in the course of my preparing for this talk. So thanks again for joining the conversation, today's seminar. And then I'll just now run us through the slides and then share my views, write out your own plan for the year for your family. And by the end of the presentation, hopefully we all have one or two things that we're setting down as our targets and our hope and goal for 2025. So are we ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Calling up my slides now.
Okay.
So we have the first one that I have here. Parenting with purpose, setting intentional goals for the year. Parenting is a journey, right? It's filled with plenty of opportunities for growth and connection. So in our presentation, we'll explore how to set impactful goals that can strengthen our family dynamics. So parenting with a purpose, setting intentional goals. In this slide, it describes the agenda of what we're talking about this evening. Agenda for parenting goals. We'll discover how intentional goal setting can make a difference in your family, in my family, also in our personal identity as a parent, maybe as a father or a mother, and for our children. So the presentation will cover key areas for setting intentional goals. That's one of our major vocabulary for today's session. Intentional goals in parenting. So we will discuss building a family vision, personal development, relationship building, academic skills, even for some of us who are adults and we're learning. I mean, we're in school, maybe preparing for maybe a doctorate or a PhD, whatever. And then, of course, for our children, depending on their different ages of development. We'll look through health and wellness. We'll look through community engagement. So each section will offer practical strategy for achieving these goals. So that's our agenda for today. So the first one we want to talk about is building a vision of family growth. If I may ask, what is our vision as a family? We have about 50 families on call now on the call. What is your vision? Have you ever even thought about it? Have you reflected about it? That what is your family vision? So I'll give an example. For instance, I mean, do we want to build a family of faith, depending on whatever area of faith are? Are we trying to develop, this personal identity, the human person, are we trying to build the character of our children? Are we trying to foster, creating a vision of family growth that lays the foundation for intentional parenting by establishing core values and goals so family can strive together and create lasting memories, okay? So if we can all pause now and just jot down, what particular vision you want for your family for this year? I mean, how do you see your family? How do you want to project your family, right? Like I said, I mean, a faith family, a family, intentional in their sporting activity, a family intentional in being volunteer, doing the volunteering work, in your community or in whatever environment that we want to play. So building a family vision is very important for growth. Let's imagine or write down the vision of what we want our family to be and where we want our family to be. So defining your family core values, like I said, is it a Christian home? Do we want to develop our children's character? Do you want to take care of ourselves? For instance, so make sure that you go for your medical checkup, make sure that you are eating the right things, make sure that you're reading the right books, make sure that, your time, and which is a treasure to you each day, there's a plan that you want to follow. So you take care of your relationship also, your family, your friends, so that at the end of the day, you are not, working so hard and then cutting off from family, cutting off from friends. Then you do very well, you grow very high in your career, and then you look back and then there's nobody around you. No, we want to, carry, want a rich and a robust, family environment. We want a rich and robust family values. So core values, they serve as guiding principles, right, for families. So discussing and defining these values together helps establish a strong foundation for decision-making and behaviors in family life. I'm going to ask another question. How many of us have family meetings, for instance, right? So if we do, it's very important to carry everyone along. So setting this family, being intentional in our family goals for this year, we have to carry every member of the family along. So it's not daddy who is scribbling and say, okay, guys, this is what you are doing, junior, mother, this is what you're doing. No, let's sit down as a family and then agree on what we want our vision to be, our values to be. You'll be amazed at the contributions that even the younger kids will bring to the table, to achieve this. So don't forget, right? Discussing is important. Everybody's buy-in is very important. Establish that strong foundation together so everybody is a stakeholder. Yeah. Everybody is a stakeholder in establishing the rules. Everybody is a stakeholder in the decision-making on the value of a family. I'm thinking too, don't forget, we're all in this together, how I'm going to reflect this in my own family, how I'm going to try, with my husband and I, even the children, to see that we have a clear vision that we're going to run through in 2025. So the next thing we want to talk about is setting long-term and short-term family goals. Setting both long-term and short-term goals help families stay focused and accountable. Long-term goals provide direction, while short-term goals, they create the actionable steps to achieve those visions. So setting goals help family remain focused, yes. Long-term, the direction we're going. Short-term, what we're doing right now, right? Those are that's how we're going to, in our thinking, that's how we want to flow. So one, we have our personal developmental or developing goals. So personal goals, for instance, is crucial for both parents and children. Fostering growth in this area, it encourages healthy relationships and it promotes lifelong learning within the family. There's something that is also important in the course of our conversation. So parents, we have to realize that our children are very visual, right? It is what they see that is easy for them to assimilate and practice. It is not what we say to them, how we want them to behave, the corrective, measures that we're giving to them, So we want to build a family of faith, for instance. How do you as a father, or how do we as parents practice our faith or pass this on to our children? So do they see us, praying? Do they bump into our rooms and they're like, oh, mom and dad are praying, or oh, dad is praying, So do they see this? And if they do see us practice these things that we're trying to instill in them, for instance, it's easier for them to unconsciously internalize this and then being able to, follow through that step. Again, in terms of their study, for instance, we have parents who are working parents. We have parents who are homemakers, whatever our fields are. Do the children see us, work hard? Do they see us wake up early? Or do they see us as parents who, we're very slow, we're very late in the things that we do? And it's amazing how children see those things. So I'll give another instance. Do our children see us get up early, prepare early to go to work? Do they see us get up early, go for, maybe go to mass or go to church or wherever it is they're going, mosque, whatever? Do they see you get there late? So many times in my children's school, for instance, when the children are late, these children are amazing. They're quite vocal, particularly this generation of children. That you can't hide. No, none of us can hide because they will say it as it is to their teachers. So you try to punish a child and she's not happy and she's saying, I mean, why? I was ready on time. Oh, Mrs. Okafor, I was ready on time. Can you imagine? It's my mom. It's my mom that made me late because she was busy putting on her makeup or she was busy doing XYZ or she didn't get up on time. So I think you are following the flow of the conversation this evening. We need to set the right examples. So for instance, if I need to dress up and I'm running late, most of my makeup is done in the car. I have a child who is my tutor in school. She says that her mom is driving and she's doing her makeup. You understand? All these things that we're doing so that we're sure that we get our children to maybe to work, to school, to their events, to their activities earlier on time. And children have not learned at a very early age that lateness is okay, is acceptable. No, it's not acceptable. So if that's part of our goal for this year, right, let's be intentional. Let's practice what we preach. Let's walk the talk that we're asking our children for. One interesting thing that we can do together as a family for our family development is reading together as a family. These are examples. I mean, you could pick what works for you or what works for your children, what works for your family. Reading together is amazing. It enhances, for the younger ones, literacy skills and encourages a love for books. It makes reading a shared activity to bond over stories and discussions, which also nurtures imagination and creativity. I remember in the COVID period, how did my family and I survive? So we're not under pressure for screen time or for TV time or anything like that, no. Because the children have a culture of reading. And then in the school also, they have the culture of reading. So what happens is, every week, every child has a storybook that they come back home with. And then the child settles to read the story. Sometimes they're asked to do a summary. They return it back to the school. They pick up a new book. So what am I saying? They form this culture of reading, hardcover storybooks. So the Enid Blyton series, based on their age, the Nancy Dewes. I mean, for those of us in our time, we read a lot. So it wasn't difficult. So at the time, you see them maybe on the floor in the living area with their books reading, the TV is off. The time we have the TV on is time maybe we have to go to church, have mass, maybe we're doing an exercise, with online, things like that. Those are what those times are for. And then the TV is off. Then maybe later in the day, they can go out to read. I'm just setting examples. So if you want your child to have the culture of reading, you have to be intentional about it. You have to visit libraries, maybe of the school or your community. You have to help them pick books that is appropriate to their age. So I'm using myself as an example because I'm also a work in progress. So my older daughter, who is like 4 years older than the younger one, she will be what will say, no, our sister is reading. No, this storybook is not appropriate for your age. No, so sorry, you can't read this one. No, it's not your age. Check, it's not your age, and there's always this back and forth, is my age, but maybe because she's a sister reading, she wants to read it, but she is also intentional and mindful of the fact that there are some things that the sister is not yet ready to read. So as parents, please let's also check what is this they are reading, but let them form that culture of reading, like we've stated on this slide. I see the mother in the picture sitting down to listen to a child read. So yes, the boy is not holding a hard copy book, but right now we also have so many storybooks that we can download for our children on their devices. Another interesting thing is teaching and practicing emotional intelligence. Depending on the ages that our children are at, for instance, some have still very young children, they are very docile, sit down, they sit, hug me, they hug you. Some of us have children who are in their pre-adolescence, some have adolescents. And then, of course, that's that age where all the emotions are all over the place. And, half the time we're struggling, we're having conversations. This child is not listening. This child is moody. That is how nature has wired us and our children. We've gone through that in one time in our lives. This is their own time. So we need to, just manage these emotions. We need to be empathic. If they are angry, yes, they are angry. I mean, don't try to say, no, you can't be angry. You shouldn't be angry. Anger is a natural thing. What is important is how to control and manage your anger, right? So again, I mean, the child is sad, comes out from school, maybe something is missing. I don't say, no, don't be sad now. Is it because of that simple pencil that you have? No, the child is sad, the child is sad. Okay, let the child express the emotions, and then you can have a conversation later about how, to manage these things. What is important for us to show plenty of empathy to our children in teaching them in terms of emotional intelligence. It is vital for healthy relationship in our families. So we need to practice recognizing and discussing emotions as a family. Why did you get angry? Why are you not on talking terms with your friend? Those kind of questions that we keep asking so that they can give us responses. So these are very important. They can help our children to develop empathy too as they are growing. Can also help them for strong communication skills. We also can apply it in our places of work, maybe where we're selling or where we're even in the bus, even in, these are things that we continue to use throughout the span of our lives. So teaching and practicing emotional intelligence. There are many articles online, books that we can read, even for ourselves, to be better in our emotional intelligence, not just only for our friends or for our children, also for their friends that we have contact with, and our friends also, like I've said. This is beautiful, establishing gratitude practice. Life, your young adults will say, life, how do you put it now? Life no balance, or life is a scam, or things like that. So when we get to that time of our lives, and trust me, even young children experience it, it's a beautiful thing for them to be able to sit back and be grateful. It's a fantastic virtue. Many times when we commute, we see different things on our way, we're seeing we see the beggars by the roadside, we see people who are not in cars, who are walking. We see people who are waiting at the bus stop to get a ride. Let's be intentional. Remember, the vocabulary is being intentional. Sometimes draw the children's attention to these things, because they are there sitting in luxury cars, waiting to be taken from home to school. They take it for granted. I mean, that yes, that's a normal thing, but it is not normal. It's just a privilege. So that brings out their sense of gratitude. So in the short prayers that you're doing, maybe on your way to taking them to school, you say, Lord, thank you so much for this privilege to have my parents with me to take me to school. Dear Lord, we're praying for those children who are still on the road, waiting to get the bus to take them to school. Many times we've also seen, children on the road. So the older kid may be an average of maybe 8 years old, and is holding the younger one who is maybe 6. Then there's a 5-year-old, then the 4-year-old. I stay in Lagos. It is amazing to see these children waiting to cross the highway. You know what I mean? It's bad enough if I as an adult want to cross the express. I have to pray a lot of litanies. I have to, plenty of sign of the cross gathering. But now these children, that is their daily living. And they cross the road on a daily basis on their way to school, back home and all. So the children need to know that they are privileged so that they are not entitled. And they also need to know that they need to, draw their, and let them pray for these children. Let them, that's, spirit of, should I call it spirit of service? I don't know. Just pray for them, right? And they will also realize that a time will come, your car can break down. They will know that it's not a bad thing to come out of your car and take a bus to go to school or to walk to school. So gratitude is very key, even for those of us who are older. When we practice the gratitude in our family, appreciating the blessings, and we promote positivity, we consider starting a gradual journal or sharing things that you're thankful for, during family meals, right? So during family meals, there's also this culture that you can form. What were your heights in today, right? What were those things that really got you happy, excited, right? Do you want to write them down and then be grateful for those things? You have nice friends, you have nice meals at school. So whatever it is, just draw that conversation amongst the children during meal times. Help them to, put it out down in journals for those who can write. Help them to sing for the younger ones, in rhymes, in songs, to express their gratitude for what God is doing or how life has been good to them. So a gratitude journal, sharing things you're thankful for during family meals, it's a beautiful way to live through the course of our day. Now, our relationship building goals. So how do you want to build the goals in a family relationship? Building strong relationship within the family fosters trust and connection. Intentional activities can strengthen bonds and create lasting memories. Building strong relationship within the family. What does it foster? Trust. So let's schedule regular family game nights. Is that something we're already doing in our families? How many people have Ludo? Good old Ludo in their families? How many people have snakes and ladders? How many people have Monopoly? Those are the ones I grew up with. I don't know. I know there are many more board games. There's Uno now. That was a card game. There's the King and Queen. There's so many of them out there, and many more that, is coming up. But these are physical games, card games, board games that we can use as a family. So game nights are fun. They are fun ways to spend quality time together. Regularly schedule this evening to encourage laughter, teamwork, and healthy competition among family members. My mom comes visiting every now and then, and one of the ways in which we keep her engaged and then she's able to stay connected to her grandchildren are these board games. I'll never forget the day that they were playing Ludo. Okay, herself, my youngest daughter at that time was like 5 years old, and then the older was like 9 years old. And they started this game, and I was busy doing my own thing. And all of a sudden, there was this argument. And it was amazing watching them from where I was, that my mom, who is like in her 70s, she's 80 now, she's, really taking these children on as though, no, they are one. And telling them, no, that's shit. No, that's not right. This is not how the game of Ludo is being played. You can't play, I can't remember what it was, maybe play double six or whatever. But my 9-year-old told her to her straight that, no, grandma, no, this is not how to play. This is how my older sister taught me to play the game. And my mom was like, what's going on here? Your older sister, your father plus your father's people, I'm the one, we taught them this game. So where are you coming from? They said your sister that taught you this. It was so funny. And my daughter wasn't having it. She was so, focused on the fact that I was there, I was just laughing because I didn't know how to come into this conversation between grandma and her children. So I said, okay, later, and I said, okay, you know what? Why don't you just wait and ask your dad to see if he has the same opinion? And she said, okay. And of course, as soon as the daddy came in, that was the first question that came. And my mom just laughed and said, look at these children. I don't know when you guys started this thing. And and then we had a good laugh. So that's the beauty. That's what these games bring together. And I must say that the younger one, that one learned how to cheat since she was like 4. So because she plays this game and she's the youngest, there's this thing about, oh, don't worry, she's young. If she plays, she's supposed to count 4, or she's counting 6, or she's counting the number that will make her win. And we're like, oh, don't worry, she's young. I beg, they are not young. Please teach them the right thing. So she's struggling with being a team player. She's not winning. She wants to scatter everything, And then we understand this thing, and we're trying to, help her to understand that these are games, it's not serious, it's about, having fun. So there's so many things that this little things that we think we're doing can impress in the life of a child, in their character formation, to be good team players, to be honest, not be cheaters, those kind of things. So please, if you haven't started this, just go look for good old Ludo. Just start that. And that is, please, try and get involved in these little things. Don't worry, maybe 5-10 minutes of your time. You will laugh the laughter that you've not laughed in a long time. Because, I mean, the life is serious now that you're a father. And you need to calm down and release positive hormones into your system. And you are busy taking pills and drugs. When your little child or someone there in the family can trigger that thing in the inside of you that make you laugh the laugh that you've not laughed in a long time. And which is good. It's very good therapy. So family game nights encourages team. Don't forget teamwork, healthy competition, helping to build cooperation and communication skills among members of our family. And please forgive me, I'm using my family as an example. Remember I said that I'm a work in progress. I want to learn. I want to be able to come out of this conversation, with practical goals for 2025, or being intentional each day, each month, of 2025. So the next thing we want to look at is setting aside one-on-one time for each child. I hope I'm doing well with time, my moderators, and I hope that you guys can hear me, because here I am just talking. I'm not seeing you people. I don't know whether my phone is on or
very
off.
well. You are doing very well.
Yes. Thank you so much for that feedback. So setting aside one-on-one time for each child. We can't overemphasize that, right? Because they are quite different, okay? So you see a child that you don't have to waste too much time. The child is very good with setting, being the child can run by himself or herself, whereas this other child is struggling. Please love each child the way they are and try and connect with them on their levels. So setting aside one-on-one time for each child is critical. With my girls, I noticed that when we're having conversations together, you hear one say, no, I'm the one talking first. You have to wait. No, I'm the one that started that conversation. No, I started first. I started talking first. You're the one that, so you're like, okay, calm down. Okay, so what can I do in this situation? Okay, there's something I want to tell you. I don't want you to be here, right? Something the older kids want to say. They don't want the younger one to be there to hear, right? And then you can pick from these filters that, okay, I need to spend time with this child. There's something she wants to have a conversation about. Note that down mentally, and then find time. It could be in the kitchen. It could be, I don't know. Sometimes you're together trying to bring out the groceries from the car, and then draw out that conversation from that child. Individual attention is crucial for a child's self-esteem and development. So schedule regular one-on-one time with each child to strengthen your bond and address their unique needs. You all agree with me, they are not the same. So let's try and put that in our schedule for this year. Planning regular family volunteer days. So this is now coming out of our family comfort zone and knowing that we're social people. And that's one of the beauty of being in Nigeria or living in Nigeria at this time and not out there in the abroad, because we're so lucky and fortunate because we've not lost this thing about volunteering, spending our time with other people. Volunteer as a family instill value of empathy and community service. Yes, so your children are able to see what other children are they're going through, right? They are able to empathize. They're able to bring out that emotion of kindness or love, right? Explore local opportunities that align with your family interests and make it a routine to give back with your children. We do that a lot in Nigeria, but because we have not structured it as volunteering like developed world, we do it so very well informally, okay? So please take it on, continue that beautiful journey of making our family, our children part of these activities. Sometimes we have societies where we go out as a family to go and give food to the less privileged. Sometimes, there are these community services that children set out during the long holidays where they are able to go and teach children of communities that they don't have too much, of these things that they enjoy, they take for granted, and they're able to give back. If you're good in numeracy, you teach the other children numeracy or mathematics or English, or just little basic things that would help that community to grow. Academic and life skill goals are also important. So let's support our children's academic and life skills. Is very essential for their future success. Setting specific goals in these areas can help them to be well-rounded individuals. So academic and life skill goals. So what do I mean? We're lucky. I mean, the school our children go to, I don't know if that happens in Hill Range and Roseville. So in the Lagoon School, they have the after-school place where after school, they go there to the center to read. So at this time, what they're doing is reading what they've learned in school. And remember that that's quite different from doing homework. So there's a possibility that children will run into this thing about focusing so much on homework and then forgetting to revise what they've done in school. So when they have this culture of, revising what they've learned in school, even if it's 10, 15 minutes thing for each subject, when they are done, then they now settle down into doing their assignment proper. It's a beautiful habit for the children to have. So creating a structured homework routine helps children develop discipline and time management skills. Designate a quiet space and specific times dedicated to homework. Sometimes, again, when they've had a long day from school, you could also insist that they nap. Maybe take like a 30 minutes to a 45 minutes nap. You hear them complain, no, I'm not sleepy. I don't want to sleep. I'm not tired. But please insist, because once upon a time in our lives, we go to school like 8 o'clock. So we get to school like quarter to 8, and by 1:30, we're out of school. It's no longer the story. For parents in Lagos, I don't know how we're all coping. We're up and out of our homes as early, for some as early as 5:30 a.m., as early as 6 a.m. Our children are there in the school. You see many parents get to the school premises. That's when the children are napping. They're sleeping to catch up the ones they've missed. That's why you see many parents eating their breakfast. That's the life we see. So, yes, these are things that is also letting them know that you got to do what you have to do, right? So please help them to continually develop this homework routine. Again, in some of the schools, I don't know how the what's it called now is structured, the academic, what's it called, how they mark their scripts. So for instance, in my children's school, 50, you have 20%, 20 marks for just doing your homework. I think you also have 20 marks in the course of the term for doing your assignment. Homework and assignment is the same thing for your classwork. And then the exam is not almighty 100, no. So for a child who has formed good skills, what happens, and that's why I keep telling my tutees, by the time you have that assignment, that's open book exam, right? You can just score as high as 20 if you choose to. Even if you don't do 20, you have 19.5, but you have good marks that by the time you're doing your exam, you're not panicky. You know that, okay, you know what, let me try and now refresh what I've been learning all through the term. And then you see the children doing well. They don't have to struggle too much. Classwork is also an opportunity to build up their grades. So let's be intentional, please. Let's encourage them. Let's talk to them. Let's help their psyche. Let's reward them when they do well. Let's hug them. Let's connect with them. And then let them also, like I said earlier, let them see us also working hard in our own various fields. I remember when I was doing my master's, for those who are on the call on time, Charles read their master in XYZ. That master that I did it when my older kids were doing their WAEC. It was an interesting period. So they were reading for their WAEC, like two older kids. I was reading for my master's. And it was interesting. My economics, I've never done economics before in the course of my study, right? And my son was very good with economics. So if I have any challenge, so he helped me with the basic, rudiments of knowing economics. Is that not interesting? Mother and son, he has become my teacher. And then we studied through that period together. And, I was happy. They see me also putting the effort to read. They see me go for classes. So who are they to say that they're not going to go to school or they're not going to put in the effort? So don't forget, parents, please, children are virtual. Let them see you walk the talk. It will go a long way it will go very long in helping them achieve that character that we're trying to imbibe in them. Teaching practical life skills. So some of us are at the age where, some of those things, right, you just want to take them off your table. You don't have the house helps. It's a good thing. Your family is your family. You're not competing with anybody. So the child who can sweep half sweeping, whatever that means, let the child sweep that half sweeping. We can be continued. In the kitchen, the day they want to make is it pancake or boiled rice, or please let them do it. Don't worry too much about how dainty your kitchen is, how you want it to be so clean. I beg, just leave it. Let them do what they need to do and be consistent in, letting them know what you want. Or when you are done, please clean up. When you are done, clean gas cooker. Let them see you. Don't forget, practice and see you clean up after yourself too. They won't get it right in day 1, day 2, day 3, no. But they are learning, they are growing, and they'll become better people by the time they're young, they're much older, or they're young. And then you can easily even relax and get some air. You come home, you lift up your leg. Oh, what are we having for dinner? If you have the habit of having scheduled meal timetable, better. Just go and boil the rice. Don't worry whether it's salty, it's too much salt, too much water, it's too salty, whatever. Just let them do it. After a while, they try to get better. So equipping children with practical life skills prepares them for independence, involve them in daily tasks, such as cooking, cleaning. Like I said, forget half cleaning. A 4-year-old can do a fantastic job. Let the child hold the broom. The child will run when it's time. Don't say there is not yet up to the age, or it's not yet time. Start now so that when it's time, right, they just flow naturally into it. It doesn't become a burden, it doesn't become a chore, it doesn't become stressful, and then you have the children or child throwing tantrum because, why are you enforcing me to do this? Okay. It's also important for budgeting to foster competence and confidence in your children. I know a lot of parents, for me too, I struggle with, do I want to do them at home, starting the gas cooker? What if anything goes wrong? So many things that we imagine in our brain. And trust me, by the time we're all living here, half a dot of what we imagine will go wrong. Nothing will happen. So please, let's foster competence, confidence in our children for our own mental health, and just calm down, right? They will do very well and they get better at it as they practice. So where are we now? Encouraging independence and autonomy. Here it says that we should encourage independence, allowing children to build self-reliance, provide opportunities for them to make choices and solve problems on their own, fostering confidence in their ability. So we can see the picture of this student here. They're all together. Maybe they are going on a discussion together. You see them here, they're studying together, right? So encourage independence, the key for children to develop self-reliance and establish life skills, shaping their growth, okay? Fostering confidence. When children solve problems on their own. I like the teeth of this child. They build confidence in their abilities and prepare them for future challenges. Now, I want to say thank you to parents on the call from Enugu that sent their children all the way to Lagos for the summer camp that they have in Lagos. I think there was time they did at the PAU, Pan Atlantic University. The one for last year, they did it at the Lagoon School. Now, for the first time, one of my daughters was of age to now be part of this activity. For many, when they started, they were not of age, so they couldn't join. And you could see the intention and the joy in, packing her load to go for this program. And she is just here in Lagos, so next door to the school. How much more the children will have to fly down, that, or even come together as a community and get on the bus and drive all the way to Lagos from Enugu. It's such a beautiful experience, if not for the challenges we have in security in our country, right? I don't mind the situation where our children will go to Enugu, for instance, to go and do maybe one semester. Roseville principal, I know we had that conversation last time in Enugu. Let them come, let them mix with those children, let them have like, what they call it, is it exchange, whatever, before we now even start sending them to the abroad, that's what I'm talking about. So the children came together, they had such a fantastic time. She was always very happy to write in her journal what she was doing each day. And I remember when they now have to leave school for an excursion out of Lagos, all of us have to sign this consent note. There was this child that our mom didn't sign it for whatever reason, which is okay. But so she picked her and then brought her back in the evening. But by the time the children came back home, some of them learned how to spend their pocket money to buy stuff. They learned how to bargain. They learned how to enter bus for our Lagos children who know the enter bus. They entered the bus from the train station in Abeokuta to the venue they were going to. I said, that bus was so small and was so tight. I'm like, oh, I see. But it was a fantastic experience, Next time you tell them to enter a bus, maybe they will be happy to. And we should do that occasionally, intentionally, let our children enter these buses, cross these highways, and make them street smart, okay? So encourage independence and autonomy. So that's the story for this particular slide. So how many of us have that on our notes of what we're going to do this year? June is coming, the long vacation is coming very soon. I don't know the plans that these organizers have for our children, but please be ready to release them. Let them come and grow, be independent, and have their autonomy. So where are we? I hope we are almost done and I'm doing well with time. Health and wellness, I'll run through quickly so that we can have time for questions. Prioritize health and wellness is essential for a thriving family. Establish goals in this area can lead to a happier and healthier family unit. So cooking healthy meals as a family not only promotes nutrition, but also strengthens bonds. Thank God for that, father. Fathers in the house, please make up more time, be in the kitchen, spend with our girl child, with our boy child, have fun, and reduce your stress level. So involve children in meal planning, preparation to encourage a healthy eating habits. This was something we did so well when we were younger, but now all the roads are clogged, they are congested. Drivers drive on where pedestrians are supposed to be walking. That's our story in Lagos. I don't know where it is that will be riding this bicycle, but anyhow, still let them go out and play. Physical activity is vital for overall health, create opportunities for family exercise, such as, and we know we don't hike in Niger, I don't know, but go walk, take a walk with your children, biking or playing sports together to foster again love for movements. Take them off the devices and let them move. It's very crucial and very important in their growth and in their development. Prioritize mental health support. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Encourage open discussion about feelings and seeking professional support when needed to promote emotional well-being. This emotional well-being, it's a given if we foster that bonding with our children on the low keys, on the little things, on the plane of games, being in the kitchen. If you foster that, right, you will not have problem with your children having a conversation with you. whatever their age, they will call you to talk with you rather than pick up this ideas from their friends who don't know Wagwan or from people that are strangers. So please, it's very important, my dear friends, moms and dads, let's be intentional, please. Let's set these goals. Please don't set too many, 1 or 2 is fine. But important thing is to walk the talk, to stay through it, for our children to see us practicing these things, and yeah, we'll get to where we want to be. Community and social goals: engage with community and social network, enhance family connection, and fosters a sense of belonging. Setting goals in this area expands children's perspective. Participating in community club, we've said all those things about this social networking. It's very important because we're social being. Joining community groups or clubs. We had Girls Guide in those days. We have the Brownies. We have Boy Scouts. I don't know how many schools those are still functioning, but these are very beautiful things that we enjoyed. There are many more that have come up, in the times in this modern times, in our own times, our children's time. But whatever it is, please let's just key into it and part of these things. Take our children out of the house, take them out of television time, screen time, put them out there, let them be busy. By the time they come back home, you don't need to give sleeping pills. You don't need to worry about them staying awake till 11 p.m. When it's 7 or 8, you don't need to beg them. As soon as they've eaten, they are crashing because they've expended energy mentally and physically, and it's good for you. And then you can rest, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
We're done.
Yeah. No, I mean, you would need I'm sure you want to entertain some questions.
Yes, I am. I'm done. I'm rounding up my slides. Oh, great.
Brilliant. So, okay.
Hosting regular play dates and social gatherings encourage children to develop friendships, and social skills. So regularly hosting these events can create a vibrant and social network for our family. So in conclusion, please be intentional again. Tayo, be intentional in your goal setting for yourself and for your family, for your children, Please be intentional. Setting intentional goals help families focus on growth and improve in their relationship and daily activities. Focusing on personal growth leads to stronger bonds and a deeper understanding among family members. Nurturing connection, enhancing strategies to nurture connections creates a loving and fulfilling family environment for everyone. So setting intentional goals in various aspects of family life can lead to meaningful growth and stronger connections. Embrace the strategies to nurture purposeful, loving, and fulfilling family environment. Thank you, everyone. So I can stop sharing my slides, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Wow, that was really mind-blowing. I mean, we've hit the ground running this year. I mean, properly or not a slippery ground. I mean, and then with this session we had now on a new year, new parental goals. And then Francis would like to take the lead in asking questions. Francis, please. Francis, 1DK, you want to unmute your mic and ask the question? All right. While he's in the business of trying to unmute his mic, Tayo, we have this one here that you mentioned, emotional intelligence. Is that different from emotional quotient?
There are two different things. So what you can do for me, right? Like I said, remember I had to do this research for myself and all of us here. Please go and search the difference, right? Intelligence just means, in my own perspective from this conversation, the emotional intelligence just means be aware of what's going on with your children, okay? Don't blank out or whatever emotions that they're throwing. Let them internalize it, grow, and let them, be empathic. So, yeah, that's what I mean. So, watch them, understand their moods, connect with them in such a way that you'll be able to pass on a message to help them get out of it. Yeah, and doesn't always have to be negative. It can also be a positive emotion. So, that's where this conversation is coming from. So, please just search it out on Google. That will help.
Wow, thank you. I think Francis is set and ready to shoot his question.
All right,
Francis.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I want to say thank you very much for this timely seminar. It was really an expository moment for me, and looking at what is going on in the world, trying to bond with my family the more. It's quite impressive, your presentation. I quite enjoy every bit of it. My question is, for me, I have two girls, and one is 4, the other one is 3. And based on what you talked about in one of your slides, you talked about bonding, playing together, and all that. But my worry is this, sometimes the mom will tell me go and take their bath. I am very, very reluctant, in taking their bath. I expect her to do that. So sometimes it becomes a problem, but I say, you are a lady, you understand them more than me. So to me, it's I am not comfortable. Let me use that word, taking their bath, So I want to know, because these issues have been on and on, even in social media and all that. At what age, can a father stop taking a bath of their baby girl?
Thank you, Francis.
Yeah,
all of us on the call, even me, we have our different family dynamics. We have how we grew up, right? We understand well, boundaries, okay? So if you're not comfortable, you're not comfortable. Nobody can force you, right? And so you have that conversation, because I know also very well of a friend of mine, they are growing up life with their fathers that gave them their baths, because their mother will have gotten up and she has gone to work. And that's what she learned, that's what she knows, right? So we're all different. So Francis, have a conversation with your wife. And if it's one thing she wants you to do, please raise up to it and do it. But they're children, okay? So you foster that trust, that confidence. This is your girl child, the trust, the confidence. Don't run away from that responsibility. If she needs you to, when the age comes when it's a no, nobody will tell you, even you two, you would know. I have a daughter who right now, you can't get her, or she's blocking her doors. They're telling, no, daddy, no, thank you. They will tell you themselves, don't worry. But if your wife needs your help in this area right now, I want to believe she needs your help. So Francis, be intentional in supporting your wife in this area. Okay, so I can't say this is the age, but trust me, the children will tell you. Trust me, you will know when it's time to, cut off as a father. Even in terms of going to their room, the time will come, you would have to knock. You can't just enter their room anyhow. Do you get? But the age that you have called, for me, it's a good time. You can give them a bath, sing to them, right? Dress them up, teach them how to put on their undies, their clothes, their socks, their shoes, okay? Don't struggle too much. If it's not good, madam will not ask you to do it. I hope I tried. Remember, we're all work in progress. Is your wife on the call, Francis?
I think he's already muted.
He's gone. Okay, that's fine.
All right. So more questions. We still have like 4 minutes before we draw the curtains. More questions, comments. You can just indicate by raising up your hand and you unmute. I see showers of praises in the chat box. Well appreciated.
My pleasure.
So, yeah, comments.
There's a hand there.
Questions.
There's a
Okay,
hand there,
let's
boss.
see. All right. Oh,
Hi.
Hello, IK. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation full of clarity and interesting. I just wanted to ask, do you hear me, madam?
Yes.
Okay, in the area of prioritization, because, in goal setting, what we notice is that prioritization is a big thing. You have to be able to know, since everything is important, right? But some things are more than others. So
yes.
how then do you get them? Because kids tend not to have that clarity in their mind, what is priority. So how then do you, particularly the girl child, because some of us that have more of daughters, we also want to be able to Yes, I like that. I count myself as privileged. It's something I love. So how do you get them to understand and mirror the sort of emphasis you want on some things? For instance, in the area of like the man that spoke earlier, being careful, know who has access to them, know who to trust, which uncle, which auntie, that kind of thing. There are so many things to worry about the girl child. I mean, the emphasis on that. So how do we get them to understand, one, areas of prioritization, and then two, people to be to welcome and people to be afraid of, just to be wary, who to be wary of, that kind of thing, just to keep them protected and make sure that you don't have stories that touch. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, I think Ike, so I have 3 daughters too. So my husband feels outnumbered. So in the case of the girl child, it's important to, as early as you can, I don't know, you have to strike that conversation. You have to be intentional in getting them together to talk. So is it on your way? So I have a friend, she was going to put her children on school bus. So I said, since you go out in the mornings almost at the same time, why don't you drive them to school? So that period you can talk with them, maybe even pray with them and all. And so you can use that time as a time to have conversations with them. So with that conversation, what now happens is that it develops gradually, it keeps developing. And I'll tell you for free, when my first daughter was turning 16, she panicked. I don't know what's been going on with her in school, with her friends. And she just can't say, Mommy, when I turn 16, I'm going to kiss. In my head, I'm like, okay. And why could she tell me that? This is an intention that she has based on the relationship she has in school, based on the friends that she has. So at that period, at that time, getting to be 16, she must have, she now has friends, they have boyfriends, they have all these things, going on for them. Are you open enough to listen to their conversation? So how did I manage this? I had to learn that too. We were told at a conference that when your children tell you things you don't really like to hear, because we really want to, please arrange your face in such a manner that you're not, the attentive doesn't say, Daddy doesn't want to hear this, and they go away. Oh, really? Oh, so let's have this conversation. Oh, you want to kiss? Okay, that's interesting. That's fine. So how are we going to now arrange this boy that you kiss, right? So that's the first conversation, and she was laughing that's why she's having the conversation, because she doesn't have a boyfriend, or she doesn't even know Wagwan. So fortunately, during that one of those evenings, a few days to when she's turning 16, in the living area, she now laughed and said, oh, then I called my husband and said, guess what? So Bonipeju's gifts for turning 16 in a few days is to kiss a boy, a first-time kiss. And the father was like, oh, really? How were we able to have that conversation in our family? We didn't start that day. It's a conversation that is something we've been doing deliberately to make sure that we're able to hear all that is going on with our children. And then that day was one of those days again when he sat her down and was like, don't worry, for a girl child, I understand pretty well. Kisses are just once and it's fine. But trust me, for a boy child, because of our biology and the way we're wired, he won't just want to do a kiss, he wants to go all the way. And he took that, and then she wanted to run. He said, no, you hear this conversation till the end, because I'm able to tell you based on the fact that I'm a man, and this is what happened. So thankfully, we had that conversation before she turned 16. And she had a good time that day doing other things. I'm sure she didn't even remember that she said she wanted her first kiss. What am I saying? Daddies, particularly those daddies who have girls, don't be that stranger that your children can't confide in. There are so many other personal conversations that we had with our children. I'm not sure my daughter, if she's on the call now, right? So that she's not like, Madam, you talk too much.